if you've been diagnosed with hypertension or high blood pressure, you're not alone. Over half of the adult population in the United States has been diagnosed with high blood pressure or hypertension. And that's based on a lot of people, that's just based on our age. So HBP is high blood pressure. So you might hear that term HBP, high blood pressure. And it's when your blood pressure, the force of blood flowing through your blood vessels, is consistently too high. So the easiest way to remember this is if you take your hand and you make a fist, that is known to be your systolic blood pressure, your systolic blood pressure. When you release your hand, the blood goes through your veins. That is the diastolic pressure. So think of a garden hose. And if you can picture a garden hose and it has that kink in it and the water's not coming out, that's your systolic. I'm sorry. When you release the hose, you undo that kink. That's the diastolic pressure that goes through your blood vessels. So these are some of the ranges. I will send notes after class here today, and it will include some of these charts that are in there. But most of us have seen this. So when you go to the doctor, the first number you're going to see is your systolic. That's the top number, and the diastolic. They're mostly concerned about the systolic number. That is the pressure running through your blood vessels. Okay. So when you break it down, the systolic blood pressure is how much blood is exerting against the artery walls. So when you look at here, how much pressure is actually going through those artery walls when there is pressure. Again, think of that garden hose. So as the pressure builds up, you release the kink, the blood flows through the artery walls on the diastolic. And so that is the relaxing of it. And so that's what happens. That's the number that they're looking at when they're measuring your systolic and your diastolic. After age 50, if we're in that range, which most of us are, especially everybody that usually is in a GetSetUp class, your pressure in your veins and arteries gets smaller. Let me go back. It's actually smaller. So when we're younger, there's a lot of space in here. And as we get older, we get plaque and different things that happen to us. And the pressure gets a little bit more exerted. There's more pressure in the system, and it's harder for the blood to flow through. So plaque buildup, stiffness of arteries, it's just a natural aging process. And that's why over half the Americans are diagnosed with hypertension or high blood pressure. When they take your blood pressure, it's measured in mmHg, or the abbreviation of millimeters of mercury. Mercury was used in the first accurate pressure gauges and is still used in medicine today as a standard unit of measurement for pressure. So again, mmHg, millimeter of mercury. There's no test on this. You won't have to remember it. It's just food for thought. So you're having those conversations at dinner tonight. There you go. You got mmHg for millimeters of mercury. All right. May get you a cup of coffee, possibly. So pulse versus BP. Blood pressure is the force of blood moving through your blood vessels. The heart rate is the number of times your heart rate beats per minute. So the question is, does blood pressure increase heart rate? No, it doesn't. So when you look at the chart here on the right, blood pressure versus pulse pressure, there is a difference. So these are some of the signs and some of the symptoms that you'll see that happens to people. If you've got a pulse pressure issue, you might be breathless. If your blood pressure is may barely show up on certain occasions, okay? Symptoms could be fatigue, nausea if you've got a pulse issue. Blood pressure can be known as the silent killer. So that is really, really important to watch. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, people that are on blood pressure medicine, you have to be very, very careful. And if you're feeling good, this has happened to my wife's husband or father, excuse me, and he was feeling so good. He said, I'm going to take myself off the blood pressure medicine. Well, suffice to say, he never took any more medicine again because that was his last day. So you got to be careful with this stuff. Just don't self-diagnose yourself. This is real stuff. So be careful with it, and make sure you're monitored through your doctor. So heart rate and blood pressure do not necessarily increase at the same time. A rising heart rate does not cause your blood pressure to increase at the same rate. Even though your heart is beating more times a minute, healthy blood vessels dilate or get larger to allow more blood to flow through more easily when you exercise. Your heart rate, when you exercise, your heart rate speeds up so your blood pressure can reach your muscles. It may be possible for your heart rate to double safely while your blood pressure may respond, only increasing a modest amount. Okay, any questions with that? All right. Heart rate and exercise. Measure your pulse rate before, during, and after exercise, just so you can get a reading. There are a number of devices out there that are available to do this. There are smart watches out there. You can also measure your heart rate and also your pulse by just taking two fingers along your wrist and finding your pulse. Don't put any pressure on it. Just make sure you can feel your pulse in your wrist or your neck, depending on what's comfortable for you. And if you have a secondhand watch or a clock nearby, take it for 30 seconds, count your pulse rate, and double that number, and that will give you the rate you need. So for instance, beats per minute is one way. To take your heart rate to find or subtract your age by 220, that is to find your maximum heart rate, and then your target heart rate during moderate intensity, aim for 50 to 70% of maximum heart rate. So again, it's important to at least get a baseline and take your pulse before, during, and after exercise. Your average person will have anywhere from 60 to 100 beats per minute, BPM, beats per minute, for an average resting rate for most people, especially in this age group. So anywhere from 60 to 100.